little Glock 26 action going on here today. I will apologize in advance, guys. It's really cold out here and the wind's whipping pretty hard, so if you guys hear any wind noise, I sincerely apologize. It's no surprise and it's no secret that I'm a big fan of XS sights, and that is driven specifically by my training experience using their sights and the comparison of the time where I wasn't using their sights and the performance, my personal performance after adopting their sights. However, I understand that their sight system is not everybody's cup of tea, and for that, reluctantly holster an empty gun. For anybody who's not super familiar with what exactly I'm talking about, this is a set of standard XS sights. Low notch in the back, rather coarse with a tritium index point, and big honkin' dot there on the front. And the argument that most people give is that they're too coarse for, you know, accurate shooting. I've hit targets with this handgun out to 100 yards, so I mean, whatever. But I can understand the criticism because it does take a little extra work to do that long range type shooting. You have to pay a lot more attention to what you're doing with these. So I get it, right? So today we're going to be looking at a new offering from XS, and this is their F8 sight. And it makes several improvements on the standard sight package. This is actually their big dot setup, not their standard package. But you can see, I'm trying to do this, yeah, there we go. Big difference in the two. So we're gonna throw this one away for a second and talk about these sights really quick. So you can see color options, and we'll come back to the colors here shortly on those, but you can get a colored front. The major difference that I see right off the bat is obviously the rear notch, right? And I just threw that away, so I have to go get it again. The rear notch, obviously, on this one, super coarse, very low. This one is more in line with a traditional sight. There's a fair amount of, sorry, I'm shaking, I'm cold. There's a fair amount of space on either side for that sight, so there's a lot of target information. So it accomplishes the same premise, as in there's a lot of sight information, or excuse me, target information presented to you with that rear notch, just like this one, right? Except more along the lines of a traditional sight. To compensate for that wide back, they've also made the front blade fairly wide. Now, one of the major gripes I have in the standard XS sights is that these are not very useful for like racking the gun off your belt or anything like that, because of that swoop. See, it's very low and that swoop is very aggressive. So it's very hard to rack off your belt if you're single-handed. These ones, they do have a rearward swoop so they won't get caught on things. And you can see they've got a bevel so they'll clear your garments as well. But they're high enough that we can now use them for racking them off our belt. Of course, the front is beveled as well. I'm going to do a little bit more shooting with this thing, and then we'll get into some of the other intricacies of what's going on up front on that thing. man, my Glock is just not having it today. That's strange. However, if we look at the front dot here, it's still quite large. However, it lies right between their standard dot and their big dot. So it is like literally right in the middle of the two. Like if you took the measurements of the two, this new dot, the F8 sight, is right between the two as far as diameter is concerned. You also see that it's colored, and that's not fiber optic, that's photoluminescent paint, and it actually charges up with ambient light. Just kind of, it's kind of like a fiber optic works, but it remains charged after dark. So we're gonna do a little experiment with this thing, see what kind of stuff it takes to charge this thing up. All right, if it sounds like I'm in a box, it's because I'm in a tiny little closet, because this is the only place that I could find that was dark enough to do this demo for you guys. These sights have a photoluminescent paint around the main tritium vial that charges up with light use. And I mean, like, very, very little light use is required to keep this thing charged. So much so that I tried to do this thing a couple times and I couldn't get it done. So I took my gun and I put it in this box that XS sent the sights in, and I locked it in this closet for a couple days just to see if it uncharged them. I haven't opened this thing, we're gonna find out. So, gun isn't loaded, by the way, so loud bang. Whew, that was way louder. And yes, we were successful. I'm gonna cover these real quick because the light from the camera is probably gonna be enough. Just a little red light right there is probably gonna be enough to charge these things up. So here we go. Ready? You can see the tritium vial in there, right? I'm gonna turn the IR mode off so that you guys can see what we're looking at. So, see that? Just a green glow there at the front, right? We also have the one at the back. Turn this thing back on. Whew, burned out. So with just a little bit of normal light management, so that was, there's a little bit of glow that I can see from just this heads-up display here, but not quite enough. So with just a little bit of light management, just normal stuff, I'm gonna just right like this, boom, nothing major. Right? Not even pointing it directly at it, just the light source coming past it. And this is not a super powerful light either, right? We have, I'm not sure if you guys are going to see that or not, but let me turn the IR mode off here. There you go. You can see that orange ring. Let me get it in there closer so you guys can see it. That orange ring is now charged up. And it will remain charged for a while. I have no idea how long it will actually remain charged, but all I know is that just the little bit of taking the gun out during the day, putting it back in the holster, and then taking it off out of my cover garment at night is enough to get this fiber optic, or it's not really fiber optic, the photoluminescent paint to charge. Pretty interesting. Oh no, the light! And we'll throw one out there for long range. Here we go. Man, I tell you what, the gun and the dude running it definitely don't deserve to be on this range today. But that is no fault of the sights whatsoever, and that's what this video is about. So That is a look at the new XS F8 sights. I'm still going to continue to use the standard big dots, or excuse me, not the standard big dots, the original XS big dots. I'm going to continue to use those because personally I like them more. But if you aren't really hip on that low notch thing, these are definitely a contender that you should be looking at, because I mean, they just work, right? The other thing, assembly, installation, stuff like that on these things, I mean, it took me like like 5 minutes, and just to make sure that these were rugged, because I saw something written somewhere on one of my forums that I participated in on Facebook. Somebody had issues with their vial falling out a few months ago. So just to make sure that that wasn't the case, I used this Glock as a hammer to put together a shelving unit the other day. And that's probably one of the reasons. I mean, it might have something to do with the reason it wasn't working all that well today. I haven't looked and see if I bent anything inside, but the sights stayed exactly where I put them. So, you know, I mean, you can come out here and shoot 1,000 rounds through the gun, which we will do. But I thought, for the sake of this video and getting in brevity, you know, why not just beat the hell out of it and see if they stay in place? I think that if you properly install the sights, that they're not going anywhere. So anyway, thanks for watching the VSO Gun Channel. That is a first look at the brand spanking new XS F8 sights. All right, going for 100, guys. No idea. Got nothing. Yep. Out of ammo too. Shucks. Ah, missed it.